Of course, 2007, the iPhone came along, App Store, people started downloading apps, the whole medium of apps and commercial side of apps. Everyone suddenly wanted an app. They didn't know what they wanted it for, they didn't know what it wanted it to do, but they wanted one anyway. And that whole boom, and the iPhone and other phone manufacturers suddenly realising that what Steve Jobs had done with the iPhone has created something quite iconic that people started to desire and to want. So they started making similar sort of phones, touchscreens, fairly big compared to the old phones, where the premise previously was to make them as small as possible and to keep getting smaller and smaller. So it changed mobile phone, it changed the whole landscape of mobile phones. Smartphones, the term smartphone appeared, more apps were being built, people started understanding what was going on in that landscape. And because of these new smartphones with their ability to connect with GPS, and they've got built-in compasses and accelerometers and all sorts of funky little gadgets like that all built into them, some guys put their head together and obviously seen the augmented reality on a desktop and wondered if they could do it in a smartphone. And because you've got the compass, which allows you to basically know which way you're pointing at any time, you've got the accelerometer to give you the control, the 6 degrees of freedom, and you've got the contact for the GPS, you can place things in location. So it kind of turned into this idea where they could create mobile augmented reality, and I'm glad they did. So the first thing I did was to come up with an idea to start building some content for it. And what I tend to do is, if I'm learning something new, I put myself in a position of building a project or learning a particular thing. If I'm learning photography, I'll set myself a task of going to a particular place and taking photographs in a particular way. If I'm programming, I'll come up with a project to build. And I learn quite fast that way. So I don't know where I got the inspiration for this one actually. I took something that I thought, well, everybody needs to know where the pubs are. They need to know. It's just information that people cannot live without. So one Saturday, I armed myself with the smartphone with a little app that allowed me to geocode places that I went to. Took my camera and I visited all of the pubs in Bath. I geocoded all of the pubs and took a photograph. But by the time I'd done all of this, I had this data, I took it back home, and I built a layer, and I built my first layer, which is the Bath Pub Guide. And it's still in use today, and even though the graphics aren't that great, even though it's pretty bog standard as it goes, it still gets an average of 40 individual users per day, which is quite unusual really for a town the size of Bath, a city the size of Bath. A layer is like a website, so if you imagine that the layer app itself is like a web browser, so it's like Internet Explorer or Google Chrome, and the layers, the channels of information, are websites. So they're just selected information put through into channels. The next one, BBC Focus, they did an augmented reality piece in their magazine, and they were exploring all aspects of augmented reality. So they used the webcam experience to augment the cover of the magazine, where you held the magazine in front of the webcam and a spider appeared, and there was a couple of articles inside. They didn't do anything with the mobile phone, holding the mobile phone over to do image recognition because technology wasn't there then. But they contacted me and said, can you do a layer for us, which is all of the outlets where you can buy the magazine. So I said, yeah, fine, and it was 10,000 entries, all over the UK. It was quite a simple layer really, not a lot to it, but quite nice to be involved in that level of technology with a magazine. And we also do the Bath Fringe every year. We did it 2010 and last year, and that's quite simple again. We geocode the locations of venues and link through to the venue website so that people who don't know the city can find it using the maps, and they take me there. And it links through each one of the venues, links through to the actual venue website or to the actual page on the Bath Fringe website so they can buy tickets directly. So again, we're using technology to speed up that process. So we built this layer for Denbighshire County Council, which was part of the Cantata programme, a European network, of regions that were having difficulty competing against nearby places where all the tourists go. So in Denbighshire, Denbighshire's a small county between Chester and Snowdonia, and a lot of people go from Chester to Snowdonia, Snowdon, or they go to Rill at the top of Denby, but they don't really explore all of the small towns in between. And they're beautiful. They're typical old Welsh towns. They've got castles there, monuments, fantastic history, big rivers. So part of the experience was to show how it used to look back in the day. So you can actually stand in the location in this place here, Ruthin, and this photograph here will appear on the augmented reality view here, so you can see how it looked 100 years ago and engage with it. And that's quite a nice piece of information to get. So you've got these markers and they link through to different bits, and you've got videos in there from local people, and the idea was if local people are telling the people that are interested in it why they're interested in it from a local perspective, it kind of adds a level of information that you don't get from any other source really. You know, you can go on the internet and read reviews, but for a local person to be speaking about it, very strong Welsh accent, and why they've been going there as a child, you know, the engagement rises. This is a guitar magazine. What would normally happen if you're a guitarist is you'd get a CD like this, and you put the CD into the CD player, which if you're like me is a bit of a pain. And it tells you up here which tracks to play. One would be the full track and one would be the backing track, and basically play along the back. So if you've just bought the magazine and you sat in a cafe, sat around your mate's house, and you want to quickly listen to it, you can literally open up the layer and go to the correct layer and just scan the page, and it will work off this. So instead of having to find a CD player, you just use this and you can interact with it. So all of these link through to this is so you can share that page with your social network, obviously play the audio. This links through to Chris Duarte's Facebook page, and the shop links through to Chris Duarte on Amazon, so you can go and buy some CDs or check him out and take it that step further.